Hello and welcome to Moments of Truth on Labour Social. I'm Graham Hughes. Many of us would like to look at the evidence presented so far in the ongoing COVID inquiry as shocking. But let's face it, all this inquiry is doing is confirming what we already know. An absolute, unmitigated omni-shambles of alcohol, cocaine, narcissism, incompetence, and private school psychopathy was running our country at the time. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't be paying attention. Yesterday, WhatsApp messages sent by the government's chief scientific advisor, Dame Angela McLean, came to light in which she branded Rishi Sunak Dr. Death in response to his catastrophic Eat Out to Help Out scheme over the summer of 2020, which encouraged people to spread the deadly virus by offering them subsidised meals at restaurants across the land. She also called Professor Carl Hennigan a fuckwitted scientist who was critical of the lockdown measures. She called him a fuckwit. Something upon which we can all agree, as it's a valid point of view, but also 100% scientifically accurate. At the time of the pandemic, Dame Angela was deputy to Patrick Vallance, who was the then government's chief scientific advisor, a role that somewhat awkwardly, considering her candid remarks, Dame Angela herself has held since April 2023. It's worth bearing in mind that since the pandemic, Sunak has admitted that he was wrong. Not to assist in the needless deaths of tens of thousands of people, but he was wrong to have empowered scientists during the COVID-19 pandemic. Presumably, he should have listened to right-wing celebrity nutjobs on Twitter instead. You know, the ones that lost their shit at the very idea that they would have to follow the exact same rules as us plebs. Could you imagine? It's also worth bearing in mind that neither Rishi Dr. Death Sunak nor Boris Fred Westminster Johnson have yet handed over their WhatsApp messages. And I think we can all hazard a guess, a decent guess as to why that might be. Now, Dr. Death is a fantastic name for Sunak because it's totally appropriate and will keep at least some of the crimes of this soft-spoken sociopath fresh in the minds of anyone stupid enough to be considering voting Tory in the next election. Dr. Death is therefore a term that we should be using as often as possible going forward for the same reason that Donald Trump uses terms like Crooked Hillary or Sleepy Joe. These nicknames can stick like mud if said loud enough and often enough. I can think of few people more deserving of the moniker of Dr. Death than Rishi Eat Out to Die Out Sunak, the pea-brain mastermind of the super spreader event of the summer of 2020, which resulted in tens of thousands of excess deaths. That man has blood on his hands. We should never forget it, and we should never let him forget it either. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.